Hello guys, today we are going to walk through Windows command line room. By the end of this room, we will get an idea of basic commands used in a Windows command line. Let's start with the first task, introduction. Everyone prefers a graphical user interface until they master command line interface. There are many reasons for that. One reason is that GUIs are usually intuitive. If someone offers you a GUI interface you are unfamiliar with, you can quickly poke around and discover a non-trivial part. Compare this with dealing with a prompt. Now, CLI interfaces usually have a learning curve. However, as you master the command line, you will find it faster and more efficient. Consider this trivial example. How many clicks do you need to find your IP address using the graphical desktop? We have to go first to the settings and then network configuration, and then we can see our IP address from the graphical desktop. But by using command line interface, you don't even need to raise your hand off the keyboard. Let's say you want to recheck your IP address, you need to issue the same command instead of moving your mouse pointer to every corner of your screen. There are many advantages to using a CLI besides speed and efficiency. We will mention a few. Lower resource usage. CLIs require few system resources than graphic intensive GUIs. In other words, you can run your CLI system on older hardware or systems with limited memory. If you are using cloud computing, your system will require lower resources, which in turn will lower your bill. Automation. While you can automate GUI tasks, creating a batch script or script with commands you need to repeat is much easier. Remote management. CLI makes it very convenient to use SSH to manage a remote system such as server, router, or an IoT device. This approach works well on slow network speeds and systems with limited resources. So in this room we are going to learn about the basics of Windows command prompt, that is cmd.exe, the default command line interpreter in Windows environment. So we will learn how to use command line to get basic system information, to check and troubleshoot network configuration, manage files and folders, and check running processes. Now we have to start our machine and also the attack box. So we have to connect to the attack box. We have to connect to our machine using attack box through SSH. So now let me do that. So we have given our username and a password to connect to our machine. We are going to use SSH @ our username, SSH space our username @ our IP address. Now we are going to type the password. Yeah, we can see now that we have entered our machine. Let's answer the question. What is the default command line interpreter in the Windows environment? It is cmd.exe. Okay, now let's move on to the second task, basic system information. Before issuing commands, we should note that we can only issue the commands within the Windows path. You can issue the command set to check your path from the command line. Okay, we are going to issue the command set. We can see paths here. There are many paths. C Windows System 32, C Windows System 32 WebM, etc. So in those paths cmd will work. Now let's use work command to determine the operating system version. Okay, let's do that. Okay, we can see that it is a Windows 10 machine. Enough warming up. Let's discover more in-depth information about the system. We can run the system info command. Okay, so since the terminal space is already full, I'm going to use cls command to clear my terminal screen. Now we can issue system info to get more details about our system. Now before moving on, first we can pipe it through more output if the through more command if the output is too long. So for example, here we have to scroll to get the information, but if scrolling is not available, that is if mouse device is not available with us, we can use more command so that the output will be divided as page by page. And by the way, we can also see our system information from the above command. We can see our host name, OS version, etc. Now let's answer the questions. What is the OS version of the Windows VM? Okay, we can see our OS version here, that is 10.0.20348, but in the work command we were able to see the entire version of the OS, so we should use work command for getting this answer. So it is 10 dot, okay, let's write it here, 10.0.20348.2655. Now what is the host name of the Windows VM? For the host name, we can get it from the above system info command. So the host name is winserv2022-core. winserv2022-core. Yeah, let's clear our terminal screen and move on to the next task, network troubleshooting. Most of us are used to looking up Windows network configuration from GUI interface. The command line interface provides many network related commands to look up your current configuration, checking outgoing connections, and troubleshooting network issues. Network configuration. You can check your network information using ipconfig. The terminal output below shows our IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway. Yes, we can use ipconfig to get our IP address and other details. We can also use ipconfig /all for more information about our network configuration. As shown in the terminal below, we can view our DNS servers and confirm that DHCP is enabled. Okay, we can also use that command here, /all. Here we can see DNS servers and also DHCP server also. Cool. Network troubleshooting. One common troubleshooting task is checking if the server can access a particular server on the internet. The command syntax is ping space target name, inspired by ping pong. We send a specific ICMP packet and listen for a response. If a response is received, we know that we can reach the target and the target can reach us. So we can issue ping space example, so to ping example.com, and we can also receive packets. And another valuable tool for troubleshooting is tracert, which stands for traceroute. The command is tracert space target name. This traces the network route traverse to reach the target without getting into more details. It expects the routers on the path to notify us if they drop a packet because its time to live has reached 0. The terminal output shows us that we have passed 15 routes before reaching our target. So we can see. Let's move on. More networking commands. One networking command worth knowing is nslookup. It looks up a host or domain and returns its IP address. The syntax nslookup example.com will look up example.com using the default name server. However, nslookup example.com space 1.1.1 will use the name server 1.1.1 to get us the IP address of example.com. Okay. Now the terminal below shows us the output of both commands. The results are identical. However, you can see that the answers were retrieved from different name servers. We can do the same here. So first I will clear my screen. Now I will issue nslookup. nslookup example.com. Yeah, we can see the IP addresses. Now let's use 1.1.1. So here we have seen that the server is IP 10.0.0.2 EU West 1 compute.internal. This was the name server. Now we can force the NS lookup to use 1.1.1. Okay, so the 1.1.1 is not permitted. Fine. Okay, the final network command we will cover in this room is netstat. This command displays current network connections and listening ports. A basic netstat command with no arguments will show you established connections. Okay, so let's type netstat here first. Netstat. We can get the basic existing connections. Here it is a TCP connection. Which is from the port 22. That is, it is an SSH connection. Since we have made an SSH connection to our system using our attack machine. Okay. If you are curious about other options, you can run netstat-h, where h displays the help page. Okay, we opted for the following options. A. Displays all established connections and listening ports. B. Shows the program associated with each listening port and established connections. O. Reveals the process ID PID associated with the connection. And N. Uses a numerical form for addresses and port numbers. We combine these four options and execute netstat-abon command. The result is quite long, but we display the first few lines in the terminal below. It is now clear that the executable sshd.exe is responsible for listening for incoming connections on port 22. Okay, let me do the same command here. abon. Okay, now we can see many services running in the system. Yes, we can see here sshd.exe. Now let's answer the questions. Which command can we use to look up the server's physical address, that is MAC address? So we can use ipconfig to get basic details of our system, but to get more details we are going to use -all, where we will also get our MAC address. What is the name of the process listening on port 3389? So here we can check for the port 3389 manually, or we can also filter it to get the port 3389. Now the port 3389, we have name of the process is term service. Yes, it is here. Next, what is the subnet mask? Okay, to get the details of subnet mask, we are going to use ipconfig again. Subnet mask is 255.255.0.0 255.255.0.0. Cool. Let me clear my screen. Now let's move on to task 4, file and disk management. We have learned to look up basic system information and check the network configuration. Now let's discover how to browse the directories and move files around. Working with directories. You can use cd without any parameters to display the current drive and directory. It is equivalent to asking system where I am. Okay, let's use cd. You can see we are under C, users and user. Now you can view the child directories using dir. You can type dir so to get all the directories. So we have desktop, documents, download, etc. Note that we can also use options with dir. So dir space /a displays hidden and system files as well. dir space /s displays files in the current directory and all subdirectories. You can type tree to visualize, so to visually represent the child directories and subdirectories. Okay, let's type tree to check our directories and subdirectories. Yeah, so we have all these folders inside C. Okay, you can change to any directory by using the command cd space target directory. This is equivalent to double clicking the target directory on your desktop using GUI. Furthermore, you can use cd space dot dot to go up one level. An example is shown in the terminal. So we can use cd hyphen users to go back a step. Oh sorry, we are already inside users. Okay, fine. We can go into desktop. Now we can use cd space dot dot to come out of desktop. Yeah. So let me clear my screen. Okay, to create a directory, use mkdir space directory name. mkdir stands for make directory. To delete a directory, we use rmdir space directory name, where rmdir stands for remove directory. So we can use mkdir to create a folder and rmdir to remove a folder. Okay, working with files. You are working with the command line. You are curious about the contents of particular text file. You can easily view text file with the command type. This command will dump the contents of the text file on the screen. This is convenient for files that fit within our terminal window. You might want to consider more commands for longer text files. This command will display enough text file contents to fill your terminal window. In other words, for long text file, more will display a single page and wait for you to press spacebar to move one page or flip the page, or enter to move by one line. Okay. The copy command will allow you to copy files from one location to another. So here we have used dir to get the details of the directory, and then we can copy one file with other file into another file. Similarly, you can move files using the move command. An example is shown in the terminal below. So we can move one file to another location. Finally, we can delete a file using del or rs. Okay. We can use the wildcard character asterisk to refer to multiple files. For example, copy space asterisk dot md will copy all the files with the extension md to the directory c hyphen markdown. Okay, now let's answer the questions. What are the files contents in c hyphen treasure hyphen hunt? Okay, so for this we have to come out of user and come out of users to go to the root C. So we are going to come out of users, we are going to come out. Now if we issue dir, we can see treasures. Yeah, so we will go inside treasure. Let's issue dir again. We can see hunt. Now Let's type hunt. So we are going to type hunt. Oh, so hunt is a directory, so we should go inside hunt. Now let's type dir. Oh, we can see flag.txt. So now we can use type command for flag.txt. Yes, we can type it here. CLI. Cool. Now we can exit. Now let's move on to task 5, task and process management. You must be familiar with MS Windows Task Manager and might be familiar with killing non-responsive processes. Let's discover how to achieve a similar functionality using MS Windows command line. We can list the processes using task list. Let me clear my screen. Now task list. So we can see many processes that are running. Some filtering is helpful because the output is expected to be very long. You can check all the available filters by displaying the help page using task question mark. Let's say that we want to search for tasks related to sshd.exe. We can do that with the command task list space -fi space image name eq sshd.exe. Note that /fi is used to set filter image name equals sshd.exe. So let's type the command. There should not be space at the image name. eq sshd.exe. Now we have filtered the command the task list to sshd.exe. With the process id PID known, we can terminate any task using task kill /PID space target PID. For example, if we want to kill the process with PID 4567, we would issue the command task kill space /PID space 4567. Okay, what command would you use to find the running processes related to notepad.exe? So it is the same command, but in the replacement of sshd we are going to use notepad. So let's type that. Okay, what command can you use to kill the process with the PID 1516? We can write task list. Okay, we have to use task kill here. One five one six. Cool. Now let's move on to the last task, conclusion. In this room, we have focused on most practical commands for accessing a networked system over command line. We intentionally omitted a few common commands as we didn't see a real value for including them. For example, chkdsk checks the file systems and disk volumes for errors and bad sectors. Driver query displays a list of installed device drivers. SFC space slash scan no scan system files for corruption and repairs them if possible. It is important to remember all the commands covered in this previous task. Moreover, it is equally important that slash question mark can be used to display help page. So in this room we use the command more in two ways. Display text files, that is in the place of type we can also use more, and also pipe long output to view it by page by page. Equipped with this knowledge, we can now know how to display the web page of a new command, help page of the new command, and how to display long output one page at a time. Now that you know Windows command line, it is time to move to Windows PowerShell room. Cool. Let's answer the questions. The command shutdown /s can shut down a system. What is the command line you can use to restart a system? So we have to use shutdown space /r to restart a system. What command can you use to abort a scheduled system shutdown? We have to use /a. Cool, we have completed the Windows command line program. Thank you for watching.